All right, guys. What we got here is a SIG P226. I think it's a X Legion carry. Um, I don't know what's up with SIG's names and whatnot, but it's their latest version of the 226 Legion series. Comes with this enclosed SIG Romeo X red dot. Super nice, actually. It's my first SIG Romeo optic, and um, very impressed by it. So just wanted to do a quick takedown video of it. Quick cleaning. I like to clean my pistols after every session. Perhaps I'm a little bit autistic when it comes to it. I consider it a little bit of a therapy session, if that makes any sense. But so let's just go ahead and make, obviously it's gonna be a quick takedown clean. This thing probably only has about 200 rounds through it, so these are extremely easy to take apart. So you just essentially line up this with that little circle on the slide, and then you just do one of these. Watch out with the spring, so it is loaded. Take out the spring, and voila. Right. You can take this out if you want. You don't have to, especially after only 100 plus rounds, right? I like to use this Hops Black 9 spray. Basically, it's just pretty simple. You can use gun scrubber, right? Especially like if you don't have to go, if you haven't cleaned the gun in a while, then yeah, you can douse it in a bunch of COP and gun scrubber or alcohol-free brake cleaner, right? Same thing. This is not going to be too dirty. Like I said, it's only got about 125 rounds through it, so this is just me being special, I guess you can say. Apologies for the snoring in the back. It's my French bulldog. She likes to just be next to me and sleep while I do these kind of things, and the rest of the family's sleeping and whatnot. So she was just likes to come hang out. So I like to just clean like all the contact points, right, that are pretty obvious. You usually can tell by the finish, perhaps like some wear marks on the finish. You're not going to see any on this one because, like I said, this thing's only got 100 plus rounds through it. But just kind of like brush off a little bit of the carbon buildup if there is any. Probably not too much here, right? Yeah, this doesn't really have much. I mean, you see a little bit here, not buildup, but just kind of like wear, right? And then I'm not really gonna see much here either, but since we're here already, let's just go ahead and spray it and clean it. All right, so just get in there with the rails. This little brush is pretty nifty. It fits exactly on most pistols, right? Where that groove is, and then it also fits here, which is great, and then here as well. So had it for a couple years, and it's actually held up pretty well, right? Like you see, the bristles aren't necessarily like falling apart. It is like a nylon. It's not a metal finish, but it's held up pretty good. So nothing too crazy, right? Essentially, after that, I like to just wipe it down. Got everything that was that is now loose. Just go through here. So I do have another 226, just like a classic 226. Nothing fancy about it, bare bones, that I've had for about 15 years. Probably shot it about 8 to 10 years ago. And I guess just other pistols came out, right? It's not even optic cut. That essentially just started drawing my attention away from it, but it is a tried and true design. So when I saw this one come out, I was like, you know what? It already had the optic on it from the factory. I like the finish of it, and I liked some of the features that SIG put into it to just kind of bring it up to speed with what's in the market right now, right? And honestly, super impressed. Zero malfunctions. I know there are pistols that, you know, perhaps they're not as reliable, and everything just gets chalked up to the break-in period, right? One of those pistols that was going through the break-in period and was giving me a hellacious time is this guy, right? Clean chamber. I just cleaned it up. This is a new Staccato P4X, and shot about 200 rounds through it earlier in the week. Just took it apart, didn't film it or anything like that, but it does not like 147 grain or 150 or 151 Fiocchi. It does not like that at all. It would shoot one and then basically failure to eject, and then it would try to like load up the other round, and it was just, I would, on the range, I had to basically like strip out the mag and then you know, rack it back and try to get what the empty casing, and then it was just not liking it. It was not liking the heavy grain stuff. I don't know. Maybe let's just chalk it up to the break-in period. And perhaps it'll shoot some of that heavier stuff better in the future. After it breaks in a little bit more. But I'll tell you what didn't need a break-in period, and it was this. That being said, 147, that heavy grain stuff is not usually like my go-to, especially like at a range. Just for target practice, right? Just going in there to just have a little fun. And I just had some leftover boxes of that stuff that I normally use for my PCC that is suppressed, and you know, that doesn't have any problems with the heavy grain stuff. It's super quiet with it. But yeah, Staccato was not a fan. That being said, I did run some 115 or I think 124 MagTech, and it ran perfectly fine. And I ran probably like 100 rounds of that stuff, and it was perfectly fine with that. But again, the heavier stuff did not like that. And I tried 2 different brands, and so it wasn't a brand specific thing. It was just simply a weight thing, a grain thing. You don't really have to do this. I mean, let's be honest. This particular platform is known for being extremely reliable in all types of conditions. So, you know, after 100 plus rounds, you don't have to clean it like as much as I'm cleaning it right now. In fact, unlike the 2011 stuff where about every 400 to 500 rounds you should break it down and clean it, because they tend to be a little bit more sensitive to um, the tolerances and whatnot, because right, that's what they're known for. They're known for being extremely smooth shooters um, that do require a good amount of maintenance. Nothing wrong with that. I have several of them and enjoy shooting every single one of them. But you have to be meticulous with the maintenance of them, because they don't like running dry, they don't like running dirty, and there are other pistol platforms that, frankly, will run dry, will run dirty after several hundred rounds, right? Maybe even to the thousands. Actually, no, definitely into the thousands, because I have an H&K CC9 that I've put about 1,300 rounds through it on purpose without adding any oil to it, any sort of lubrication to it, just to see how fouled up it's gonna get, and how fouled up it's gonna get, and if it's gonna malfunction. And it hasn't. It's kind of crazy. It's actually a green one, so pretty much like over 50% of the gun is like all fouled up with carbon buildup, and you can see it because obviously the slide is green. It gives it kind of like a cool worn effect, but every time I grab that pistol, definitely have to wash my hands, and wash my hands afterwards really well, because there's a lot of carbon buildup. But so yeah. All right, so that's pretty much what I would just clean on this pistol right now, especially since it only has a couple rounds to it. So just add a little bit of oil on what you see are like the wear marks, right? Nothing too crazy. You don't need to add that much. Right, just add it, and then whatever is, let's say, excess after you put it together, I like to just wipe it down afterwards. But okay, I think it goes this way. Maybe not. All right, let's try it this way. Okay. Am I doing something wrong here? Okay, there it goes. Let's make sure this is in there pretty good, because it will come at you. All right. Line it up. Okay. Something is going on. All right. Maybe I did put this in backwards or something. Maybe it's not liking that. try this again. There it goes. All right, line up that little circle. Right. Ensure that everything functions, right? So we saw it's empty. That works. You can cock it back. This is a single action version, so you can ensure the safeties work, right? Doesn't fire. And then, as we can see, pretty oily. So I like to just wipe down that excess because you don't want to grab it and then just have your hands completely filled with oil. All right, so just wipe off some of it. If you're going to store it in for a long time, perhaps you shouldn't wipe off too much of it, right? Because that is the oil does act as a protective barrier. So just kind of wipe off the optic, and I like to use these things. Not this one. This one's dirty. But these things just kind of get into like the crevices of the optic, right? Because they do get some buildup. Not a lot, but they do. Right. And that's pretty much it. So quick breakdown, quick cleaning video of SIG 226 Legion X Carry. Perhaps. I honestly I don't recall the name of it right now, but I think it is the Legion X Carry model. Shoots amazing. If you haven't shot one, shoot it. Don't dismiss the P226 because the Sig Sauer name is in front of it. This model P226 is legendary for a reason. Thanks, guys.